seriously dealt with according to the law. I swear by Almighty evidence I shall give before this tribunal will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God.
Please tell me another time you know your address and what you do for a living.
My name is Nika Austin Libar. I live in Satellite Town, on the 6th, Hamzat Avenue, National Bank. I'm a part-time teacher, tutor in English language for foreign exams. I'm also a freelance graphic artist.
You confirm that you filed a petition before this honorable court dated 27th October 2020.
Yes, I do.
Now take your mind back to the 28th of September 2017 and tell this honorable court what transpired between you and the respondent. You know how I find that the petitioner has said? You are very grateful. Please sit down. Now take your time, speak slowly so that the panel can get your audience. You may proceed.
In 2017, probably 28th of September. Something like
Come forward, speak into the speaker. Maybe someone should guide you. Go.
It's like it's switched off.
On Thursday, 28th September 2017, I had an encounter with officers of the Nigerian police. A week to this, that was what actually led to the incident. I received a phone call from a lady who told me she had a son who wanted to pursue his studies abroad. Well, she called me requesting or asking me if I was into that line of business. And I told her, well, I'm not directly involved in handling visa application or admission. That I'm into teaching students, training them for national exams and international exams. In this case, I have for those intending to travel to Canada or Australia. And if it's the US, it's also. But I was affiliated to a travel agency at Western House, Marina, that was into traveling as well as handling visa documentation. So I said it was possible to meet with this woman and her son and address their documentation. So we set a date for a rendezvous said she worked. She actually had job under my international man. So the rendezvous was set for Thursday, September 28th. Opposite your church to go. So that fateful morning, around 11, I left the house for the rendezvous. Before getting to the place, there was a hold up that was starting to build up. And she kept calling me to know where I was. So in order to make things faster, I decided to pass. So on foot, they led me from the premises of the opposite the local government down to Ojo police station. When we got to the station, they took me to the back of the station. Where there were some other policemen there, some in mufti, some in uniform. So they said, we got the person, and they started to question me. So where is the money? And I looked at them and said, what money? So why did you collect the money from the woman? I was surprised. Which woman? This one or another person? They started questioning, and I couldn't provide any answer. So one of them said, okay, call the person that was defrauded. So they went, and a few minutes later came with a young lady. They came with a young lady and said, she's here. And they told me, this is the person that you defrauded. And I looked up, and I noticed I recognized the lady. Well, in my previous employment, I worked with God's Good Motors, and I was the online representative. So most customers that come around to book or book online, they have to meet me in the morning for verification before they travel. And this particular lady, along with her sister, when the police officers were now demanding how they got my number from the lady, they were asking me how they got my number in order to call me. I told them it was possible that based on my application with God that my number would have moved with that. In fact, she got my number from that platform. But I told them concerning the case of fraud, I knew nothing about it because it said the lady was defrauded by somebody who wanted to do the visa application for her. So when they saw that I wasn't getting anything, they decided to take the matter to the DPO. So they went into the station, walked into the office of the DPO. Now, DPO listened to both sides of the story. At the end of the day, he told my accuser, the lady in question, Robert, and her boyfriend, as well as the policeman attended them, He doesn't really see anything in the face of the matter. That if they are sure that I'm the person that actually defrauded they should seek the person in the law court. Well, the lady and her boyfriend would have none of it, so they said they would rather have the police handle the matter, and that they've already informed many of the SARS about this matter, and those ones advise them to get the person and bring him to their office.
Sorry, Mr.
Okay.
You mentioned the lady that was produced, the person they alleged that you defrauded.
Yes.
What is the name of this lady?
I don't really know her name. She didn't give a name. We were just, initially we talked on phone, and she was
I'm sorry, I'm not talking of the person who called you.
Okay.
Who fixed that called you on the 2nd of October. No, I'm talking of the person who they brought to the police station of Joe and who they claimed you defrauded.
Okay.
What is her name?
She's Lovett. Her name is Lovett. Thank you. So that was how the DPO did away with the whole matter, and we left his office. So prior to this, at the back of the station, they had seized my phone. I was telling them they should give it to me to make a call my wife and let them know what's going on, but they didn't. So when we left the station, I demanded for my phone and said not yet, that I should hold on. So the policemen conferred with with Robert and the boyfriend on one side of the station, and later the policeman came to me and said, "Well, we're going to SARS office now." And I was surprised. I said, "But I thought the matter had been dispensed with." They said, "No, that we're going now." They took me outside of the station, and the lady I had been talking with now said, "How are we to go?" They said, "Well, maybe I should get money for transportation." I said, "I don't have money. If you want to take me down to anywhere you're taking me to, I shouldn't be responsible." Then she now realized that I said I came with a car. So she said, "He came with a car, we can go with his car." So they decided that they were going to go with my car, and with me still in cuffs, they led me all the way from Ojo Station down to Lagos State University to go and retrieve my car. So when they brought the car back to the station, we all got in. The policeman was driving. Myself and my accusers, the lady and her boyfriend, we were at the back. That was how we now drove to Ikeja, the premises of the SARS. I think it's area F or so. There, the officer that drove, I think it's Sergeant Monday, handed me over to another officer, a member of the SARS, Michael Mobebe. So he took my vehicle in, parked it somewhere, and took me up to their office. Well, I was asked to stand in one place. I was bed-chested, and they went into another room along with my accusers, and another officer came around. They were there discussing. At this point, there was one gentleman that was also in the office with me there. So I noticed he had a phone. I now asked him to give me his phone to make a call. So I called my wife and told her where I was and what was going on. That if it's possible for her to come around, I think the time was around 4:30. If it's possible, she can come around to see what's going on and sort things out. But she said it's rather late that she'll come in the morning. So I gave back the phone to the man, and later they came for me, took me to the room. I think it was an interrogation room. And one officer, Officer Olivet Sanusi, started questioning me, asking, "Where is the money? Why did you collect the money?" This and that. And I told her I didn't collect any money, that I didn't even know what they are accusing me of. But it got to a point when I wasn't giving her what answer she was expecting. She started getting rough with me, hitting me in the face. at the end of the day, when she was satisfied that I wasn't giving her anything concrete, she let me go, and Michael Mobebe took me to another section of the building and talked with them at the desk there, and they opened the prison cell and put me there. So I was in the prison all through that night. Okay, cell, sorry, cell. So I was in the cell all through the night. In the morning, well, during the night, because of the overcrowded nature of the cell, a prisoner died, an inmate died. And in the morning, they told me my people were around, that I should come out. So Officer Michael took me out, and I saw my family, my wife, my sister-in-law, and a neighbor, Mr. Ido Adeshigbe. They told me, my wife basically told me that they had talked with the officer, Michael, and they've talked with Lovett, my accuser, and that she later told him that she realized I wasn't the person that defrauded her, that they agreed that I probably was I was at the wrong place at the wrong time. That was how they put it. So the police said they will let me go, but that they just want to do some preliminary stuff, like taking my statement and all that. So they told my family to go, that they will release me later and I'll come back home. That was how my family left. But my wife told me that because I was looking lean and all that, that she had given them money so that they won't maltreat me or not feed me. So when they left, Officer Michael took me back into the office and he said it's now time to take my statement. I wanted to collect the pen and write. He said no, that he was going to write, that he would be questioning me. During the questioning session... Okay. So during the interrogation, he got to a point, he asked a question, he wasn't satisfied with what I said, and next thing I knew, I received a slap on my face, and he started giving me more slaps, and I was wondering why he was getting angry. Every time he asked me a question and I give him a reply, and he would just hit me. And I noticed that other officers that were around in that room started hitting me too. They were slapping me from the back and from the side. At the end of the day, I managed to give the report I wanted, and he now took me back to the cell again. So that Friday, I stayed in the cell again, and a significant thing happened. That night, 2 inmates died again. So I think mid-morning, the upper echelon of the police were agitated. So they set up a panel that Saturday morning, and they asked all the IPOs to bring out all their inmates and make sure they decongest the cell. So people with minor cases or no cases at all, they will just dispense with. I think the panel started sitting around 6 a.m. Well, I was hopeful, but around 11, when I didn't see my own IPO come for me, I was getting apprehensive until I now saw the other officer, Olivet Sanusi. I beckoned on her and told her, I'm still here. And she said, she wondered why Michael hadn't come for me. So she took me out of the cell and she handed me over to Michael. Well, he didn't take me before the panel. He actually took me to the back of the station and asked if I had eaten. I said no. So he proceeded to buy food for me. And at the end of the day, he now gave me back my phone and said I should call my people to come and effect my bail. I asked him how much it would cost, and he said 50. I told him I didn't have that amount, that I couldn't raise it. At the end of the day, he agreed to the sum of 30,000. So I called my younger brother, I called my wife, and before long they came around with the said money, and they handed it over to the officers. So that afternoon, they decided to let me go. But they now said why they're letting me go is because the person that they suspected all along, a certain Benga, that they were going to the office where he works to go and pick him up. Or if he's not there, they'll pick up the bus. So right there, Officer Michael decided to place a call to the office. He posed as if he was interested in their travel agency business. And the man told him he wasn't in the office that Saturday, but that he'll be around on Monday. So we didn't get to go to the place that Saturday. And they now said they couldn't return me back to the cell, but that they will let me go home to come back on Monday so that we'll be able to go to the office in Egbeda. That why I'm going with them is for me to clear my name, that if we get there and the people there do not recognize me, they'll be able to let me go. But that if they recognize me, it means I'm in cahoots with the people there.
So, when were you released from the cell?
I was released on Saturday, the 30th of September.
And who came for your release?
My wife came around, my younger brother, Remy Adebayo, as well as my neighbor, Mr. Idou Adeshibin.
So continue. You said on Monday you now went to...
Yes, so that day when they left me Saturday, I stopped by the premises of the High Court there. I think there's a High Court in Ikeja. Used the ATM there to withdraw the sum of 10,000. Thereafter, I proceeded to a pharmacy to buy drugs and stuff to use because my eye was bloodshot and I was feeling pain all over my face from the treatment I got. So Monday morning, I came to the SARS office again, and along with officers Sanusi Olivet and Michael Mobebe, and my two accusers, Lovett and the boyfriend, we got into my car again and they drove down to Egbeda. Now on the way, I now asked them, I said, well, if we get there and these people claim they don't know me, that I'm not in cahoots with them, does it mean I'm free? He said yes. I said, okay. So when we got there, Officer Michael and I went upstairs. It was a complex, a shopping complex. We went upstairs to the office. And when we got there, we met the boss. And the moment he mentioned why he came, that's Officer Michael, that it was the one that called on Saturday, but that he's not really here for travel business, that he came on behalf of Lovett. The boss flared up and he was like, why would you come for Lovett? That girl is silly, that he had told her that he wasn't going to be involved in her case anymore. And so Officer Michael now said, what really happened? So he said he had he was one that agreed to do visa or to help file visa application for the lady and her sister. But that when they got to Abuja for the visa application at the US Embassy, the sister was given a visa while Lovett was denied. So they came back. They went with the company of that said Benga. So when they came back, he said he told her that he has to represent her again, maybe 2 weeks later, that all she needed to do was pay the sum of 64,000. That's the visa application fee, that he was going to represent the case and she'll get the visa. But that she refused and said she doesn't have any money and that she doesn't even want to do a visa application to the US again. So he now said, what exactly does she want? She said she wanted to do a visa application to Italy. And he said he told her no. That it was not explaining to Officer Michael that why he did not agree to that was because she was a Benin girl, or she is a Benin girl, and at that point, Benin and Italy, they do not go well, that they will deny a visa. So, unknown to him, when she left his office, I think Benga called her aside and told her that he'll be able to do the Schengen visa to Italy for her. And that was how she gave him the sum of 800,000 to do the visa. Now, he actually did it for her, but when she got to the airport, she was apprehended for having a fake visa. So when they asked her how she came about it, she told them it was through an agent. So they now told her that if she can produce the agent that did the fake visa for her, they will know how to tackle the matter. So I think that was how they set up a sting operation. And for the fact that she had my number, I don't know how she confused it, and they called me based on that. So that was how that whole issue went. Well, when we got to the office, the first thing Michael did was to ask the man if he knew me or if I worked for him. And the man said no. He also asked me if I knew the man, and I said no. Asked if I knew the said Benga, and I said no. So with that, I thought to myself, well, now I'm free from their clutches. So, but Michael now told the man that he'll need to go to the station with them. And the man agreed, but said on one condition, he has to put a call through to his lawyer, which they agreed to. So he called his lawyer and told them he should meet him at the SARS office. Well, in retrospect, I was now thinking, this was what they denied me. I mean, I was begging them for them to allow me make a phone call. They didn't. Well, we got in my car and we drove to the station. When we got to FSARS in Ikeja. When we got there, his lawyer was already waiting. So they asked him to write a statement. He wrote it. And I was thinking again, this was what they also denied me. They didn't allow me to write my own statement. So the man wrote his statement in the presence of his lawyer, and he promised that he was going to help them to apprehend that Benga who collected the money. So they let him go. So when it was my turn, I asked Michael if I was free to go, that he should give me my car keys. He now said that I needed to bail the car. And that moreover, he would want me to sign a bond. I said, what for? I don't understand. He said, no, that in case they don't apprehend the Benga, or the matter is just left hanging, that my car will be in surety, that at the end of the day, might have to sell the car in order to raise the amount. So they brought the bond, and I signed, I think, to the tune of 800,000. Thereafter, he now said, well, how are you going to bail your car? So we talked here and there, and at the end of the day, I agreed to give him the sum of 10,000, of which he collected. And that was how he let me go. So I collected my car keys and drove home. Now, instead of going home directly, I now thought, these people had paraded me at Ojo police station. I mean, I usually go to that area. I don't want a case where this policeman will see me and they'll be pointing, oh, look at him, because they know my car and they know my face. So I went to the office of the DPO. I told him I was the person that they brought some days earlier on that charge, and that I've been to the SARS office with them.
DPO of which police station?
Ojo police station.
Okay.
Yes. I went back to meet him. And I told him all that transpired over those 3 days I was in the hands of the FSARS officers. So I thanked him because he was the only person that actually believed my story. All the others, the other police officers and SARS didn't. And at the end of the day, I also told him to admonish some of his policemen, because he gave an express order for them not to take me to SARS, but they refused. I don't know what they discussed with my accusers. So that basically was it.
Sorry, Mr. Luca. Now, you said you had you were beaten, molested at the police station, at the SARS office.
Yes.
Did you take any pictures of those?
Yes, when I got home, I took pictures with my phone. It was there on my phone until maybe 2 years later, the phone got stolen. So that was how I lost it. But immediately, the following day, I had to go to Festac police station to go and file a report about the missing phone. I took shots of the injuries, but they were on that phone.
And what of the matter in itself? Was there actually a resolution? Was the actual fraudster, was he ever apprehended?
Yes, because at the end of the day, I collected Officer Sanusi Olivet's number, and I told her I would really like to know if and when they catch the real person. So I was calling her constantly until I think about a month later when I called her, and she told me that they had arrested the winger, and they had confessed, and they had even promised, along with his parents, they had promised that they were going to refund the money. I think it turned out that the parents were police officers too, the parents of the winger. So that was the last I heard of the case.
You are here today, you are giving your testimony. What would you want this panel to do for you with respect to your complaint?
Well, like every other person, when the SARS matter came up, we were all relieved because as at that time, I didn't have the resources to engage a lawyer in order to pursue this case. But thank God 3 years after for this opportunity. So what I actually want done is for justice to be served. How? I mean, if these officers, if they are still in employment, if they could be cautioned, I think that would go a long way to stop them from maltreating people that they are supposed to protect. I think I'm okay with that.
And what about conversation? You're not interested in it?
Oh, well, thank you. I spent money. I had to treat myself because of them. Sometimes my vision, I sought medical treatment. I saw an optician. I think it's even one of the reasons why I'm on glasses. Yes, I mean, I wouldn't mind monetary compensation, yes, because they collected money from me and might say illegally, because those sums of money were not really registered sums that they collected.
Well, that will be all for the petitioner. We are very grateful for the opportunity.
Yes, my Lord, just 3 or 4 questions. My friend, Austin.
Yinka.
There are 3 good questions to do it here. First,
Okay.
let's start from John Policemen. You agree with me that you are arrested based on a complaint in John Police Station?
Yes.
You also agree with me that there was no amicable settlement at Ojo police station. Hence, both of you went to SARS office.
I do not agree to that.
But you were taken to SARS office.
Yes, I was.
Can you tell this now? Are you telling this panel that at Ojo police station, the complainant, the Oliver, what's the
Love it.
was certified with you that you are not the person that you are as at Ojo police station?
Well, yes, as at Ojo, because I had an opportunity to talk to her, I said, look at me, you've known me for about 2 or 3 years as a staff of God is Good. Have I ever talked to you in relation to travel or traveling? Or have I dealt with you concerning that? And she was looking at me, but I think deep down she was thinking. It got to a point before we went into the office of the officer. She conferred with the boyfriend based on what I said. And after when we came out, when we were now driving out of the Ojo police station, I still put the question to her that, did I get involved with collecting that money from you? And she said, well, she's thinking about it, that it wasn't really me, that what they are telling her is that maybe I was working in league with the person that collected the money.
So as at the time you people were leaving Ojo to SARS, there was still some grey issue. Maybe you were the one that conspired with the actual people.
Yes.
By your examination in chief, Abu and Monday handed you over to Michael.
Yes.
Along with the alleged complainant. Along with the alleged lady now, Lovett,
Well, she was just standing around.
but Lovett was part of the group that went to the SARS.
Yes, she was.
Will you be surprised to know that at that level of transfer by administrative procedure, the duty of Abu and Monday has ended in respect of that matter?
Yes.
Abu. Yeah, by your examination in chief, it was at SARS office that the truth prevailed that you were not the person that committed the offense.
Yes.
So now, from 28 September 2017 to today, what has happened to Lovett? Did you file any action of defamation or did you file?
No, I did not.
You did not file any action. So you agree with me that it is the investigation conducted at SARS that gave rise to the arrest of Benga and the Ugandano patient?
Yes.
It was SARS office that investigated.
But they investigated late. They should have done that on Thursday.
No, there's no problem. But they did the investigation. You will agree with me that the said Michael is not the alter ego of SARS. It's not the head. It's not the OC of SARS department. He's just a common police investigator.
Seriously?
Yes, just an IPO, just a person who investigated the matter. Is he a team leader? Is he the OC of SARS or the IPO who investigated the matter?
I wouldn't know. Okay. They handed me over to a Michael Mobebe, and they called him IPO.
All you have told this panel that you suffered in the hand of Michael, you did not report it to any officer, either the Commissioner of Police, the Deputy Commissioner of Police, the OC SARS. You did not report it to anybody. All you have explained it.
No, I did not.
You agree with me by your testimony that you went back to DP Ojo to admonish him, to tell him to correct his officers.
Yes.
So which one did you consider more valuable? Where you were beaten, you did not report. And you went to admonish a place that torture did not take place. Which one did you consider more valuable?
Okay, torture did not take place, but why I actually went to admonish them was that was there. Actually ransacked my card. So I went back to collect.
So thank God for this question. It was this question that brought up at Monday taking your memory card.
Yes.
You have to appreciate me for that. So lastly, last question. You agree with me that before this panel, from the beginning to end of your evidence, there were no medical, no picture, no receipt of any kind tendered before this panel?
Well, I have...
Just answer the question, I'm not telling you. You will agree with me that from the beginning to the end of your evidence before this panel, neither you nor your lawyer tendered any receipt of purchase of any drug, any picture of any...
I agree.
I agree. My lord, that will be enough for the minutes.
No. That's your case. evening. We appreciate that the petitioner has a challenge, and I speak as a member of the NPA. We appreciate that the petitioner's challenge was that there were no documentation whatsoever. I am not giving evidence, please. I am only.
You have closed the case of PW1, so sit down.
That is why I'm only laying a foundation as to why we have to call someone to corroborate something. Please,
He has closed the case of
Mr.
PW1 and he said he has another witness. It's not for him now.
Milord is not even recording me. Please. It's not everything that you need to.
No, but we have to do it according to
Milord, with respect, we have another witness report.
We are not against that.
If my Lord is minded, we are ready to call Mr. Adeshimitu. May I first of all ask that the witness, the petitioner, be discharged?
Discharge the next case. He doesn't need any discharge. He's a petitioner. He's got the right that he attends the panel. He's got the right that he attends proceedings there. He can only vacate the witness.
No, my Lord is from the witness box.
No.
I'm very sorry.
Please,
From the witness box.
you can leave the witness down.
Yes.
Thank you.